Alrighty, hello and welcome back to another episode of our 3PN podcast. We are your hosts, Jake, Shane, and Kenny's back again. Full disclosure for everyone, we've already recorded this one time, and it just didn't work out. Technical difficulties, I guess. So we are going to try and be as authentic. Yeah, all my fault, right? So I guess we recorded some of it, and video wasn't matching up with an individual in here, and shall remain nameless.
Shame.
There on the end.
My bad.
Yeah. So whatever. We got through most of it. We're gonna try and record it this time. Everything seems to be working. We are gonna talk about a few things different from the first time we recorded, but we'll try to be as authentic as possible. I think a lot of what we talked about, we're gonna probably want to at least put out there. I think we went over some good topics, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. So, Shane, what have you been up to the past, 2 weeks now it's been since we've actually put something out?
Yeah. So I'm still really deep into Dragon's Dogma. That's been my go-to for the last, pretty much since it came out. Recently, we have, I guess all three of us at this point, have gotten into, I guess back into Battlefield, which I'm not a fan of. I really wish we would.
I've enjoyed it.
We've dragged Shane kicking and screaming into Battlefield.
It's not my forte, although I did find my niche. Instead of trying to kill the enemy, which I can't do, I just heal our guys, which sometimes I can do, and then give out little war snacks to everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's great for us.
Fun, you know,
we need
real
it.
Enjoyable for me.
All right, Kenny. What about you? What have you been up to?
So just like he said, been playing a lot of Battlefield. Get on my Madden leagues is about all I've really been able to get playing lately. I did get to enjoy a Toledo Walleye hockey game the other day. That was nice. It was the first playoff game. Yeah, good win. It's a good game. Other than that, just working and playing with you guys a little bit. Getting through the days.
I hear it. Yeah, Battlefield's been fun. I enjoy it. So there was this other game that I know you guys don't really play on PC, but it's been promised to come to console for a while. It's called 6 Days in Fallujah. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
It's really
I've heard
fun.
You talk about it.
Yeah, so it's like a real tactical shooter, and you're basically put into the battle in Fallujah, and you kind of just kicking down doors. You're like a Marine unit, but it's all PvE, not PvP. Okay. So it's fun to work together as a team.
Yeah.
They've been promising it coming to console, so if it does, I think it'd be great to jump into. But it kind of reminds me of like how we've been playing Battlefield, in a way where you try to work together. It's just Battlefield doesn't have the best mechanics for that.
Yeah.
There are other better ones out there that we could play, but I don't know. Anyway, Battlefield's been fun.
I wish they would make more like cross-platform PvE based games, not necesserly war simulators, because like that's not really my forte. But
we've been over this. There is some out there that
there's
we
just
could.
Not a lot.
There's not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot.
I think we've actually talked a little bit about this before, but it seems like Xbox is almost going that route. It's just trying to drag Sony down with them into this more cross-platform.
I just read an article earlier this morning, actually, I think it was, that said Xbox is selling, like their Xbox game rates are selling on PlayStation higher than PlayStation games are.
Yeah.
Like games, which is wild to me. Which I almost kind of believe, but
I think a week or two ago they released an article saying that they're like some of their exclusives they were going to start selling on other platforms, which the like Xbox fanboys got all uppity about it. And it's like, well, I mean, they're just trying to reach out to another crowd,
and I think Microsoft's always had more of a focus on software as opposed to their hardware.
Yeah.
Right? They more often than not, companies like Sony, even Nintendo, Microsoft, they really lose money on their hardware, and that's where they make up their money is software, like games and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Xbox is just trying to take advantage of that, it looks like, instead of doing like these mid-gen refresh bullshit, like where they come out with a Xbox One X or Series X Pro, whatever the hell, and it's going to be, I don't know, I don't really have a use for that. They just keep the same hardware and then, come out with better games that more people can play. I mean, I think that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
But if you're, if you're a diehard Xbox fan, maybe you don't like that, but I think the more people you have playing games, the better. Is better for
I think that's why Xbox is making the moves they're making. They're seeing,
I think it's a smart move.
Essentially that. More players, more money.
Yeah. Right. And it's really honestly not hurting the player. I mean,
no, I mean it's better, right? I mean it's
a lot of like the Xbox fanboys are real worried that Microsoft is going to go under, because now no one is going to have a reason to choose Xbox because there'll be no more exclusives. But at the end of the day, if you're an Xbox fan, you're going to have an Xbox regardless of what platforms those games are released on. And honestly, half the gamers that I know have an Xbox and a PlayStation. So it's really not it's not gonna hurt in the long run. I don't think it'll hurt Microsoft at all. I think it really can only benefit them.
Honestly, I'm thinking about getting a PlayStation 5. I'm sure they're going to come out with that PlayStation 5 Pro or whatever they come out with. That's like the cheaper version. But I might end up getting that just to play because I know they've been talking about The Last of Us. They're going to make a third one. Yeah. I'm whenever that comes out or is announced, I'm definitely going to have to get a PlayStation for sure. I mean, I love that fucking game. And then I can't. There was another game. Obviously Helldivers. I mean, that's not something I can just play without because I don't have any friends on PC that really play it. But I mean, Kenny, you got a PlayStation, and we know a handful of people have PlayStations that I can try to convince to play it.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I've been wanting to play. I don't have no one to play with. So
yeah.
Okay, if I ever fall into a vat of money, a new PlayStation and a new computer are probably the first two things I'm going to buy.
Yeah, just start selling feet pics,
Yeah, why not?
Listen. I've been thinking about making an OnlyFans. It'll just be my feet.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure it'll sell.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, I'll do my feet up like they're female feet, right? Like I'll shave from my knee down, and I'll get my nose or toes manicured and everything, or pedicured, whatever one it's called. And my handle will be Footlicious Lily. I've been putting a lot of thought into it.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit like fraud, but it's okay.
No, I don't. You're not required to say your gender. I don't think on whatever it's called. Well, the only problem is it might be classified as porn, and you can't be in porn and be an active duty military member. So I'd have to choose one career path or the other. So
depends on which one's making you more money, I guess.
Probably the feet one.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wow.
Well, there was another game I've been playing. I just started it, and it's honestly because the TV show just came out, and me and my wife have been watching it. But Fallout.
I've seen you. You've been playing Fallout.
Okay.
So
I think it was yesterday.
Four?
When I got on, I saw you were playing.
Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never got into it when it came out. It didn't seem like a game I'd ever be into, and I know a lot of people played it, really liked it. But I watched one of our buddies play it for a little bit, but I've never even played it. And so me and my wife, we kept hearing really good things about the TV show. So we watched I think we're on episode 5 maybe. So we haven't even finished the season yet. But
it's good. I just finished.
Oh my God, it is so good. It's really, really good. And honestly, that Walton Goggins is one of the best actors and one of the most underrated actors ever.
Oh, is that the ghoul?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in Sons of Anarchy, Justified. He was in S.H.I.E.L.D. on FX. If you remember that? That was like a cop show or whatever. He's been in so many things. He's just fantastic, and it really is a good show. And it kind of got me itching to see what all the fuss was about. You know what I mean? So I started Fallout 4, and it's pretty good so far. I mean, it's definitely you can definitely tell it's Bethesda, right? I mean, it's a very typical RPG, whatever. But I heard Fallout 4 was like the one to play if you want like a good story, you know. I guess Fallout 76 is more like a multiplayer type like shooter, whatever. I don't know.
It really depends on who in the community you talk to. I've only played Fallout 4 and I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a lot of fun. I only ever beat it once. I think I almost. Well, you haven't beat it, so I don't want to give it away. But I beat it once, and it was a good game. I've replayed it a couple of times, never all the way through. There's just, but like the big fan, like the people that have been fans for a long time, will just constantly shit on Fallout 4. Like they say it's the
I've
worst
seen a
Fallout
lot of that
series.
shit where they say like Fallout New Vegas is like the best one, and some people swear Fallout 3 is the best one. Where I sound like an asshole saying this, but I'm like very in, like I have to have decent graphics or I can't get into the game.
Yeah.
I can't go back and play old games that have shit graphics. It takes me out of the game so much. And if I go back and play like a Fallout 3 or even Fallout New Vegas, because I've seen clips from it, and it's not like it's bad. It's just
different.
dated.
It's old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely dated.
Well, New Vegas is close to Fallout 4. There is not a huge graphic jump between those two. Because
because what Fallout 4 was like 2015.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that they had a large criticism about is like Fallout 4 came like 5 or 10 years after New Vegas, and the graphics were very, very close to being the same. And so everyone's like, this is like a brand new AAA game with like, last year's AAA graphics. People got real butthurt about that. I think
like
that
times
was
haven't changed much for Bethesda doing the same shit.
Yeah, I mean,
When you look at
what was it?
Starfield.
Starfield's graphics aren't all that great, and the game itself has so many Bethesda bugs in it. I think
we've already beaten that one to death.
Yeah,
Our disappointment with Starfield.
I think Bethesda hopefully has finally learned their lesson. They've what was it? They got spoiled with Skyrim. It was such a hit game.
Yeah.
And the players immediately
Still
were
is.
like, you know what? Let's make this great game even better. And they made content for it. And Bethesda's like, oh yeah, like we'll open this up so you guys can use it as official content. And I think they assumed the community was going to do the same thing with Starfield, and they're like, no, we're not going to finish your game for you, because no one got paid for those mods in Skyrim. Skyrim was just like, hey, if you upload your mod here, it's going to be available to the whole community.
Yeah.
And people were cool with it as like a one-off thing, but I think Bethesda thought that's how they could make games now. And like the whole modding community looked at Starfield and they're like, no, dude, get out of here. We're not doing this again.
No. It is unfortunate because what a great concept to a game that.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was a decent game. It's just there was so much around it that they promised that they didn't deliver on, and then so much was missing that had already been in past games of their own studio, and games like Mass Effect that had like ground vehicles and transportation and better like fleshed out planets, and like No Man's Sky. I mean, it was just, we could go on and on about the failures on that game, but it is unfortunate because I think it was a very good idea that, I don't know, I hope we get something similar that will kind of fulfill that need, whether it's a sequel or not, I don't know.
Bringing it back to Fallout 4, I did read that they're going to make a current generation console version of it. Like, and they're not doing like a full remake, but they're gonna
they're doing like
the graphics and stuff.
Yeah, they're just doing the next gen update for Fallout 4. I did hear that.
Yep.
And it's great because it's on Game Pass.
I get down on that. So. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that's pretty cool is Todd Howard apparently did, I guess, semi-officially announced they are working on Fallout 5. And the rumor, I don't know if it's even a rumor, I think he actually said it in an interview that they specifically wanted to leave out of the show specific like places, like locations and certain information because they were going to use it in Fallout 5. So
nice.
Anybody who's fans of Fallout has that to look forward to as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think depending on when they release it, which I imagine they're probably going to build off the steam of this show. I mean, the last Fallout game was made in 2018, I believe. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while, so I'm sure it's close to done, I would think. I
Yeah.
don't know. At least,
if Elder Scrolls is any indication, we still got some years to wait.
well, there's that too. Well, that and Grand Theft Auto. Look how long it's taken to get another one of them.
Yeah,
man.
well,
But,
that's a different
I think that would be
studio.
cool. Something they can play off. Well, yeah. No, definitely a different studio, but I guess the same. You know, it takes like 10 years to make a decent game for them, which I guess is, if you're going to make a
Not
full-fledged
a
game,
bad
and it's
thing.
going to, yeah, it's not a bad thing. Can be a bad thing if you're going to come out with like a game like Starfield and it's going to be dog
Yeah.
shit. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did. They hinted at Starfield about like 10ish years ago, and then it went dark forever. And then it was like the last couple years that it resurfaced. And they're like, look, we've been working on it this
Yeah.
whole time. It's about to be the best game that's ever been released ever. And we're like, yeah, it sounds like it. Let's see it.
no. Well, I mean, I think that kind of segments pretty well into what I told you guys I was going to leave for, if we had time. But I think we should just jump right in. We're already talking about video games. I want to talk a little bit about like most anticipated video games. We've already mentioned a couple of them.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll give you guys a second just to think what you guys are waiting for. But I'll tell you a handful that I had written down that I've been. Every now and then I'll kind of like look if there's been any leaks or anything, of something coming out. Like GTA 6 had a couple leaks not too long ago. That was pretty cool. They had their official like trailer that came out. So obviously GTA 6 is a big one I'm waiting for. The next Fable game is another one I cannot wait for. And it's a little disappointing. They had that big trailer reveal. Was it last year at like Gamescom or something like that?
Ago, yeah.
And
like a
then there was
frog
just
eat a
been nothing
fairy and a bunch
since.
of weird stuff. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
and then there was like
studios-
that giant guy. I don't know. It was weird, but and then there's been nothing since. So I wonder where that game's at. And then honestly, I want to know what's next for games like Battlefield, Halo, and if we're ever going to get another Splinter Cell. That's what I'm really anticipating. I don't know that we'll ever see Splinter Cell again.
I would love to see Splinter Cell. Man.
I know, but really, whatever Battlefield has coming next, I feel like we've waited a while to them kind of get their feet back under them again. I think 2042 was an okay game, but it didn't have a campaign like they've always had.
I don't think
Things
we've
like
waited
that,
long enough for another Battlefield. Honestly.
Yeah, I know you're not a
Give
big
them,
fan.
give them some time to cook. Let them take their time.
Yeah.
Like,
All the leaks that I've seen from GTA 6, I think that's going to be kind of, and I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but kind of how GTA 5 came out and changed video games.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a real, like, hallmark moment where, like, that was the pinnacle of video games at that time and really changed a lot of different games as far as, like, world building goes. I mean, look at all the games since then. You can even see some, I'm not going to say relation, but if you, like, different mechanics that different studios use because of that game. So I'm really interested to see what GTA 6 comes with, because I hope it's going to be the same kind of this generation's gaming, like, pinnacle, like what people are going to want to achieve coming out. Same thing with if they ever come out with another Red Dead, right? I mean, that was really good for its time too. But really, GTA 5 really changed video games, I think, for the better.
Definitely.
Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. What are you guys waiting for?
Well,
ahead,
so my big one should be, I don't know if there is an actual release date yet. The new NCAA football game. They stopped making them years ago.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. They
Yes.
did announce something, didn't they?
Yeah, they stopped making them years ago because of
I think it was there was an
for
issue
money
with the
reasons.
NCAA, because players wanted to be paid.
yes.
For their
So
likeness.
so now they will be paid. I think anyone who opted in, I mean, they're not paid a lot. I think it's only like $600 or something. It's not a lot, but it's whatever. But I've been waiting for this for years, and it's finally coming. Can't be more excited for that. I'm a big football guy.
I'll definitely jump on that. Those were the best
And
football.
they're-
Madden's always been okay, but there was nothing like playing
Yeah,
NCAA.
and I love Madden, but there's a lot to complain about with Madden for sure.
Well, it's the same damn game every year.
Yeah, this year,
Is it
you know,
that
with
every
the new
football game?
gen, yeah, it's almost every sports game, to be honest. With the
You
new
guys were playing
gen,
football
they
this
did.
year. Next year we're playing football.
Yeah, but if you like that, that's what what you go to. So, as much as it does piss me off, and even the community can be one of the most annoying communities out there.
It's
but,
pretty toxic sometimes.
It really is, dude. Like I said before, like I co-run a couple Madden leagues, online franchises. So we have 3 different leagues with people all over the country. 32 teams a league times 3 leagues. There's people all over, and these grown men can just be ridiculous, like 16-year-old girls, dude. Like, grow up. It's a game. But besides that, man, GTA is a big one. I would love to see another Battlefield come to terms too. Yeah, man, just typical games. How about you, Shane?
Yeah, I am really excited for the new Fable. I could go on about that. I don't know if that's really what our segment wants to be focused on. I'm also I asked you earlier, I already forgot the name of it. The new Star Wars game coming out.
Outlaws.
Yeah, Outlaws. That's shaping up to look pretty freaking good. It's interesting when you have Star Wars content and aren't focusing on the Force, which is what this game is kind of looks like it's turning out to be. You're like a bounty hunter that's trying to get out of the game and trying to like clean up and escape scot-free. So it's a pretty cool concept.
It will be definitely interesting to see how they approach that. I'm really excited to see that because you're taking a franchise who has been pretty solely focused on Force use. I mean, that's what Star Wars is. You're using
magic.
the Force. You have lightsabers, things like that. Yeah, I mean, the only one that I would say that they kind of went away is like Battlefront. I mean, because it's more like a Battlefield. But even in Battlefront, you can get, it's a different style. It's like a Call of Duty. It's a shooter, right? And people knew what to expect. This is going to be a more like open world. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. A long time ago, they had a Star Wars game come out. I think it was called Clone Troopers or whatever. But yeah, you played like a squad of clone troopers. And you went through a bunch of missions from like the prequel trilogy, and it was really cool. I only played the demo of the game because back then I didn't have the shmoney to buy my own video games, and my dad wasn't really into buying us video games. So I had the demo and I had a lot of fun playing that over and over and over again. But yeah, so they've done it before. That game did make a lot of money, so it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. What else am I excited about?
Yeah.
The new Elder Scrolls. I cannot wait for that to come out. They've released.
So actually, I had a question for you because
that.
I know you like Elder Scrolls. Have they officially announced what's coming out for Elder Scrolls? Because I thought when I saw something, I know they have like Elder Scrolls Online, and I thought it was just going to be like a DLC for Elder Scrolls Online. Is it like its own game?
No, it's another. It's another actual Elder Scrolls. So Elder Scrolls Online is kind of its own thing. You're just playing a character in the Elder Scroll world.
Yeah, I never really got into that one.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online was okay. It has the same problems that almost every other MMO has, where it's like they cheapen the content to make it like easier to have these massive servers.
I had come across a couple things from CD Projekt Red. I don't know if you follow any of them. They're another game studio that did like Cyberpunk and
I want to get back into Cyberpunk
or whatever.
So I now that I have the new Xbox,
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The update.
Apparently they're working on a sequel to Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I heard
already.
about that.
And they're also working on the next Witcher game as well. So that'll be cool to see. And they have a new IP they're also working on. They have a studio working on, which they haven't announced what that's going to be yet either. So they have a new game they're working on, which is cool. That studio's come out with some pretty cool shit. So
yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens there. But the other thing I want to talk about was Battle Royale games. I know we've gotten into that a couple times. And so, Kenny, I think out of all three of us, you probably play the most, or have played the most of a battle royale game.
Probably put a lot of
Royale
time
game.
in.
Jesus,
Yeah,
spit
yeah.
that out.
Definitely. When it first came out, I was big into Fortnite for a couple years, probably. They add way too much shit into that. It's hard to keep up with. It's hard to keep up with the little kids who play with it. You know what I mean? They're good.
Shit, that's like any game now.
Yeah,
Can't
right.
even play a multiplayer game. I mean, playing Battlefield, that's probably who's killing us the whole time. We're getting our ass creamed by 6-year-olds, you know?
For real, though. Yeah,
God damn.
You're probably right. In Warzone, I mean, I've put a good amount of time into Warzone. Definitely when it first came out. And that game varies too, man. There's a lot that pulls you away from it.
Yeah.
You know?
It does seem like Warzone's gained a ton of popularity, and I don't know if it's overshadowed Fortnite. I don't know if anything ever will. It may. I don't know the stats between the two, but I don't. You know, I tried when PUBG was like really big, maybe a few years ago. I got into that pretty heavy with a couple buddies of mine. We would get on every now and then, and he actually streamed for a while too. He was pretty good, and we would play that, and we got decent. Like, we would win, I wouldn't say majority of the time, but pretty often. But then, I don't know, I don't know if it's I'm getting older, and just there was too many people getting better. Or I just, like, lost interest. Like, Fortnite, I never got into. I will never understand the whole, like, building thing, and you're trying to shoot. I don't know. I just don't have, like, the capacity to do all that at the same time. It's too much.
It was a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't do it. PUBG seemed more manageable, but it's again one of those games where it's like I'm being shot at and I can't even see where from. Like,
That's my problem with Battlefield.
Yeah, try playing PUBG. I'll get you in a game on that, and you want to have an
PUBG's
issue.
cool. I enjoyed PUBG. I just feel like it was way too big of open areas. Like, the maps were. It's like, I don't know, because, like, you get into Warzone and it's cities, and you have occasional flat areas or, you know, hilly mountain areas. But, like, PUBG just seemed like everything was open. You know, it made it real hard.
Yeah, it did. Warzone does seem more manageable. I've played it a couple times. It's okay. I think I would probably be into it more if I had, like, a good team to play with, like a group of friends that played it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like, I guess, I don't know. What is your opinion? Do you think these Battle Royale games are here to stay, or do you think they're kind of just falling off?
I think they're probably going to stick around for a bit. It's hard to tell. I'm waiting for, like, just a full version of a Battle Royale game to come out. You know what I mean? Instead of it just being... I guess Warzone kind of is its own thing. The mechanics are way different than the online version. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a whole different feeling. So I guess that kind of is its own thing. But yeah, I think it'll be around for a bit. I don't think it's really... Yeah. I think you're going to see some other games maybe pick it up too. You see it in the VR, and those look cool.
I was going to say...
Yeah, the VR one's pretty cool.
I was going to say, I'm not a huge fan of...
Battlefield...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say Battlefield 5... Was it Battlefield 5? I think it was Battlefield 5 had their own version of a Battle Royale. It didn't really take... It was some people played it, but it never got real popular. There's been a few that have come out, like Apex. I forgot, that's another big one we didn't talk about. Apex Legends is pretty good. I played that for a while too. That was fun.
I'd be ready to get back down on Apex. I played that a little bit. The class system on it though is weird, and so you gotta. You really gotta. You have to figure out what your play style is, like what you're good at, and then find a specific character that meshes well with that. So it makes the...
Well, Shane, I know you've played this one. Rivals, that's what it's called. Kenny, have you played Rivals?
No.
Played Rivals?
Yeah, that's the one me, you, and your brother
played.
That
was the finals.
It's like a 3-player... Is it finals?
There is a Rivals. Well, is it both? I thought it's 2 different games. I thought you, me, and Tyler played finals. But maybe it was Rivals. I don't know.
Whatever the hell we played, where it was like 3-player. So basically, you jump in with a squad of 3 people, and it's a battle royale. But there's like I don't think it's as big as like a Fortnite, PUBG, whatever. But it seems pretty fun. You have like 3 different, I think it's 3 different classes where you have like a light,
medium, heavy
guy who's just faster, like little submachine guns. Yeah, mediums, like your assault rifle, whatever, and then your heavy guy, obviously big LMG and
it was
whatever.
Okay.
That one's pretty fun.
I enjoyed it while we were playing it.
Yeah, I mean it's okay.
I will say the maps,
like
maps
I said,
are a lot more complicated in that game. It's a lot more multi-level and a lot more like just. I don't know. There's just so much more going on with the map itself, whereas with like your PUBGs and your war zones, like you might have a couple buildings here and there, but it's pretty straightforward. There's so many twists and turns in what the finals or the rivals, whatever it's called.
You can pick up different like barrels and shit and throw at people.
There's teleport pads, jump pads, zip lines. There's one map where the map is like a series of these floating islands, and you have to like zip line to get across to certain things. You know, it was fun. It was a nice.
That one was annoying as shit.
Twist. What was that?
Yeah, so that one was annoying as shit.
They all were, but yeah.
But yeah, there was another one that I don't know if it's even out yet. It might be out on PC, but I think I talked to Shane about it a little bit. But it's called I had it written down here, Spellbreak, where it's basically think Harry Potter, but it's battle royale. Instead of guns and shit, it's like you can cast spells at people. It's basically a bunch of wizards throwing shit at each other.
It looks alright, what it is.
It'd be fun to try, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a big battle royale person. I think that it probably will. The hype around them will probably die off here soon, but it does seem like, I don't know, Call of Duty seems to be
seeing like me personally, I feel like I've dropped off from it. Like I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. Definitely now, like I won't hop on Fortnite. Like that's just
no.
It's too much now. Last year sometime, maybe not even a year ago, they brought back like the OG season and brought it back to like original gun type things and mechanics, and that was real nice. I played that whole season, and once that ended, I couldn't even try the next one. It was terrible.
Now they keep adding like all this stuff, like now it's Fortnite with Star Wars and Fortnite with like something else. Like I see people on Fortnite with like lightsabers.
Oh yeah, they just had one with Avatar.
Yeah. Avatar, yeah.
Yeah, they just add like you can water.
They've had a few. They've had Thanos in it, like Marvel. You could get Thanos.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Powers and stuff. There's been a few. And
so what's irritating is that like PUBG is almost starting to do some of that bullshit where they've made it a little more cartoony than they were. I mean, they were supposed to be like the more tactical, more like mil sim type battle royale, and I do think it's cool that they have updated it where they have like destructible environments.
Okay.
I haven't tried it yet. I just saw the update, but they still. So what I expected when they came out with that, they had like a whole refresh. They're running PUBG on Unreal Engine 5 now, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what they're running it on now. Which should be a lot better graphics, obviously. Unreal, I mean, is what everyone's going to for the most part. And then destructible environments, I'm thinking like Battlefield. Like you can blow up buildings and shit.
Yeah.
Apparently that's not the case. It's just like the terrain you can alter. Like you can like dig a hole or something. I don't know. I thought that just sounded weird. And kind of like build like a bunker or like a what do you want to call it? Like a barracks almost, like
trench.
Like a trench. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Just like kind of.
That's a weird way to word it though, because I feel like that sounds like Battlefield, which I'm surprised more games haven't taken that in yet.
Yeah, that is one cool thing when I have been playing Battlefield with you guys is like you'll be like crouching behind a wall, like peeking out to shoot something, and next thing you know, a rocket comes in, and the wall that you were hiding behind is not there anymore.
No more wall.
Yeah. Right. Now you gotta,
exactly. Because there are a lot of campers, but that's how you eliminate it.
Then you got to scramble and find somewhere else to hide so you don't die instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, some people camp in order to kill people.
I guess we'll see what happens in the future.
I camp in order to not get killed.
I would like to see Call of Duty kind of abandon. I know a lot of people would hate that because it is a very popular game, but I would like to see them maybe not abandon that, but maybe just go back to what Call of Duty was supposed to be. You know what I mean?
do
Like
miss
that.
like the
Yeah.
small map, close quarters, like semi-close quarters combat that Call of Duty was. That's why I was like Call of Duty over Battlefield. Like, yeah, Battlefield was a little bit more realistic, and it had more realistic mechanics, but it was so massive, and I could never get in on that. Whereas Call of Duty was much smaller, more grounded, and it was a lot easier for me to, I don't know, maybe not die quite as often.
Well, it just
for
seems
sure.
like a money grab for Call of Duty at this point. Like, Call of Duty was known for their campaign. I mean, it started off with World War II games, like Call of Duty Big Red 1. That probably was my favorite. And Call of Duty World at War was awesome. But every Call of Duty, even though most people got it because of the replayability, right? Because you had this multiplayer or whatever. But that was always, in my mind, it seemed like always like a second thought to them. They spent most of their time on the campaigns and making a good story. That's what you want. And then now it's just kind of like they're going the route of Battlefield, or Battlefield got rid of their campaign, and they're just, in 2042, and they're just, playing multiplayer, and Call of Duty is the last campaign that came out with dog shit.
I think
And so it's like, why
I think that's the problem with modern day gaming. Like, we all want to be able to play with our bros, right? And not everyone wants to just play PvE. They want to compete because, humans are competitive by nature. And so, like, people are willing to spend more money on a more fully fleshed out PvP sort of setting. But when you're making a game, you can only do so much. So if you get to a point where something has to take a hit, in today's day and age, it's going to be this single player or just like co-op campaign that takes the hit, so that they can develop what the majority of players are going to want to play. I mean, I don't like PvP because I suck at video games, and it's a lot easier to kill a computer. But most people like the PvP. They like the competition and all that nonsense. So I think it's just like that's just a sad fact of modern gaming. Like, unless the game is designed to solely be a campaign-based game, like all these other major franchises, they're moving away from that. They're going to focus on their PvP, and the PvE bros like myself, we're going to be a niche community.
I like both.
Yeah.
I think I like.
Yeah.
I don't know why they can't do both. I guess it depends on the game that you're
I
talking
think it's
about.
budget. I
But
think that's what it really boils down to, is the money.
yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna make a full-fledged like AAA game that's gonna have both, I mean, charge more. I mean, if you're gonna make a good enough game, people will buy it.
If they're
I mean, if
Definitely
that's
like a
the
Call of
issue.
Duty type game. People are gonna buy it. You're gonna make
they're
your money
already
back. I feel
charging
like.
enough on video games. If they start
Even
charging more,
besides
I think I'm
just the
gonna throw up.
game. Besides just the game, all that money gets poured into the add-ons that people buy religiously. Almost a new skin comes out and they gotta buy it. You know what I mean? So they don't even need the game money anymore at that point. I
there
feel
are
like.
a surplus of games that come out for free, and where they're like you said, where
And
they're
then
making
just
their
make
money
their
is the
money
market.
off of
Yeah,
well, Fortnite, bro. Fortnite's a free game and has
and
been.
it's one of the highest
and
grossing games ever.
worth over billions of dollars now. Like,
Speaking of Fortnite again, did you? I want to say it was Disney and Fortnite. They had like that. Man, I'm gonna butcher this because I don't really. It just dawned on me that I remember seeing like a trailer for this, but it was like a. It was a game show or it was like a Gamescom or something like that. I don't even know, but they had like some trailer come out that was like all these different universes with like the Disney like lands or whatever, and then it was like Fortnite was. Yeah, do you know what I'm
I
talking
think
about?
I've
Is that
seen
ringing a
something
bell?
like that too. Yeah, but I don't remember seeing a lot about
I
it.
wonder what they're gonna do with that. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The creators of Fortnite are really,
Well, they're
whether
smart,
you like
man.
it or not, they're smart and they're doing it right. Whatever they're doing,
And when
even
they
if I don't
can, they
like
can
it.
incorporate anyone they want.
Yep.
Anyone who wants to buy in with them and do that. I mean, it's a money catch for both of them. So they really
So they
have
don't have
free
to worry about
range.
licensing issues, right? These people are probably paying them to
Yep.
get into the game.
Exactly.
So it's-
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, it's a good move on their part for sure. I don't know why we can't have that and then also focus on better games.
No, I get
You
it.
know what I
I get
mean?
it. No.
But yeah. All right. Well, if that's all you guys had on that, I wanted to get into one last thing. We're at what 42 minutes it looks like, so we got plenty of time. I want to talk a little. So I know when we first kind of came up with the idea for this, we kind of tossed around names or whatever. We landed on the 3PN or the Pixels, Plots, and Parenting. One, because it kind of sounded funny. But two, because it really did explain a lot of like what we're about. You know, pixels, plots, and we like video games, TV shows, books, even a board game. You know, whatever tabletop games. You know, that explained a lot of like what we wanted to talk about. But also on top of that, we're all parents. You know, same generation of parents, and I think a lot of that is. It affects how we game, what we're going to game, the time we have to do any of those things, you know, watch TV, movies, whatever. So I did want to get into it just a little bit about, because I don't think we do talk about, or we haven't really talked about a lot of it yet, of just how we do the things we do and why we do the things we do. So I think the first thing I want to talk about, just because I think it's funny, is some of our guilty pleasures when it comes to watching shows maybe we say we don't want to watch or say we don't like, but then like we're a season deep and it's like, oh man, I can't wait for the next one. So I watch with my wife, of course, the Bachelor series. She loves the Bachelor series, so I'm watching that with her pretty much. I mean, we like watching things together, right? We don't.
Yeah.
We're not the couple that's gonna, you know, watch different shows and whatever. We have a couple that we watch that are different, but mainly we try to watch everything together. That's why it takes me so long to get through stuff, because we both work and she works, and so it's hard. But so I guess my question to you guys is, if you guys have any shows like that, like The Bachelor, or we watch Love Is Blind, that's on Netflix. All these reality, you know, junk TV shows that are embarrassing to admit to anybody. But do you guys have anything you guys watch with your significant
Kenny,
others?
you go first, because I'm definitely going to be different from both of you guys.
So I do. Luckily, she doesn't get too big into like the Bachelor shows. I will watch, like, she just got done watching Desperate Housewives not too long ago. She watched the whole thing, and I got sucked into that. I try not to, but it does get you, man. I mean, a lot of them do. A lot of them do. I mean, even before she was watching it, and this was like, you know, a year ago or something, she was finishing it up, but the Vampire Diaries. And of course, I got sucked into that dumb show. But it
yeah,
is
we watched that
addicting,
one
man.
too, and I got sucked into that too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and besides that, I mean, we watch a lot of shows together. She, like I said, she doesn't get too big into those love reality shows. The only one I won't watch with her is her Kardashian show. I just can't.
That's too much.
Can't do that. I draw the line there, and she watches that when I'm at work or sleeping. Yeah. So it's all good.
Yeah, I feel pretty lucky because Lauren watched pretty much anything with me. Like I said, we watched the Fallout. She loves Peaky Blinders. We watched Game of Thrones. Like, she watches pretty much everything I watch. But then she does have, you know, she definitely has some guilty pleasures when it comes to reality TV. So we get sucked into that. But, all right, Shane,
Well,
what
I
about
will
you?
say, I, like, back when I was in college, had a girlfriend that liked Vampire Diaries, and I did not. Once we broke up, I did not continue watching that show. But I will say, Originals, which is a spinoff, and it follows like the original Vampire Family.
I was just gonna say that.
That is a good show, and that is not like a chick flick show.
Yeah, it is.
It was like, all right, guys, we know you all watch Vampire Diaries with your girlfriends. Here's a little, you know, attaboy for you. Here's a bone to say thank you.
Yeah.
Originals is really good.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. It was based in New Orleans. It was definitely a lot darker.
Yeah, it was
good.
I still find myself rewatching up until like the last 2 seasons. It gets a little weird. But so me and my wife don't really have a lot of shows that we watch together. So my wife is Thai, and she'll watch like Thai horror shows or horror movies. So I'll watch those with her, either with the subtitles or she'll, if it's dubbed in English, she'll play it in English for me. But I don't really get into them because, like, think like real bad late 80s, early 90s horror movies, and that's modern day Thai horror movies. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
There's a little bit to them that is how do I want to say it? I don't know. They're okay. I find myself enjoying them sometimes.
Tolerable.
But they're just not really up my alley. But what she does like to watch is that King Julian show, which is like a Madagascar spin-off, but it focuses on, I guess, King Julian and Mort, and then that other little advisor that he has, the older dude. Like, they found a bunch of other lemurs or whatever they are, and like created a little community. It's okay. It's cute. It's like a cute little show. I don't want to say I'm invested in it, but I enjoy it. But what I really find is my kids, which I've got older kids. I think both of you have really young children. My kids are 13 and 12. So they're starting to get into, like, adult shows. And what I'll find is if I watch something for long enough, they start watching it. Or I will, like, because they always watch Netflix when they're getting ready for school in the morning. They're very mature for their ages, so me and my wife have to do nothing to get them ready for school in the morning. I was not like them. Like, when I was that age, like, my dad's like, all right, get up, you gotta brush your teeth, you gotta pack your lunch, you gotta... Like, I had to be told what to do, because otherwise I just wouldn't fucking do anything, because I didn't want to do that stuff. I could, if I don't...
Right.
If I don't have to go to work and on a school day, all I have to do, if I want to, is wake up early enough to drive them to school. Like, I don't have to manage them getting ready for school. They take care of all of it on their own. Like, I'm very proud of them. But I find that
Nice.
if they watch something for long enough, I'll start watching. Like, what was it? Rookie. I'm on like season 2.5, maybe season 3 of Rookie. I never started it, but like for weeks I'd walk in because Jessie, she's got a bigger room in downstairs, so that's where we like hang our clothes up to dry and everything. So when I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm going into her room to grab clothes and stuff, and they've had the same show on for weeks. I'm like, hey, is this a good show? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, well, like how long have you watched it? I'm like, oh, this is like our third time watching it all the way through. I'm like, and you don't know if it's good or not? And so, like, I started watching it. What was it? Not Reno 911. Why can't I think of the name? That show that's got the guy that's in Lonely Islands, and he made his own cop show. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I've watched that show like 4, 5, 6 times, and now they started watching it. We both have watched, like, Young Sheldon. Like, they started with Young Sheldon, and I got them onto Big Bang Theory. So, like, we don't really watch stuff together because our timetables just don't really sync. But we'll watch the stuff that each other is watching, and that's real interesting how that sort of plays out. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. So I guess that my next question is going to be a little, probably drastically different for each person, but I've just had a lot of time to think, like, when my son's old enough to, or if I have multiple kids, where kids old enough to get into some kind of video game, whether it's a console or an actual game series or whatever, what I want to introduce to him first, if that's what he is interested in, if he wants to play video games. And I know, Shane, you have a lot older kids, and Kenny, you have an older kid, right, too, and then two younger?
How old are
two
your
younger
kids, Kenny?
ones as well.
And
I got a 3-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old
okay,
stepson.
yeah. Well, cool.
So I guess you guys both have the kind of, I guess, privilege of doing that already. But so I guess let's start with Shane, just because I think they're the oldest. Like, what are they into? Are they playing video games? Are they into that? Are they not into that? Have you introduced anything to them?
My kids are very much into video games, just not anything I'm interested in. I try so hard to find common ground there, and it's just so hard because they're real big into Roblox, and I just every game in Roblox, I'm like, this is a real fully developed game somewhere else that's
It's
better.
a different game.
You know, I don't know why we're slumming around in Roblox
Yep.
when we have the same game, but somewhere else. They also got into Fall Guys, but they got in like Fall Guys started in Roblox and just got big enough that they made a full game for it. You know, and I'm like, oh, it's
Oh, really?
it's
didn't know
so it hurts my brain to watch them play Roblox. It's just so much.
Yeah.
I've tried to get them into some of the stuff that I play, but they're mostly like on their tablet or their laptop or on their phones, which obviously, like, I'm a console player. And the whole controller thing, they just don't, like, it's so hard for them to get used to that, and so they can't really get into those games. But I mean, I watch them play some of these other games, and it's, like, they're pretty good. The only exception, there's one game we play together. It's a cell phone game. Why can't I think what it's called? Brawl Stars. We play Brawl Stars together a lot. And that's like a nice little like arena combat game where there's all these little characters that have different abilities and different play styles and stuff. So we play that together. If I had the money to buy them their own consoles, I probably would. But I mean, I can't buy 2 more Xboxes or 2 more PlayStations or 2 more really anything. So it's like either we play a couch co-op game, which nowadays most of them are booty cheeks, or we just don't really play games together, you know. So it's rough. I would like to connect to them more. They also really like Minecraft. And I could never get into Minecraft. That game was just always so boring to me. When I first started dating their mom, I spent a good couple months playing Minecraft with them. And every time, it was the worst experience of my life. Not because I was playing with them, but because the game itself was just not entertaining to me. I know there's a lot of Minecraft fans out there, but I just could not do it. But yeah, they've been playing since they were probably 7 or 8. They've been playing games on phones and tablets and stuff. So it's pretty cool to watch how they develop.
Yeah. Yeah, Kenny, what about you?
So my stepson is a massive gamer. Like I said, he's 10. He'll be 11 in a few months. Big gamer. He's got a PlayStation. He's got the Quest 2 that he spends a lot of time on.
Quest is good.
And yeah, the games are cool. He's been gaming for a while now, a few years. I know you guys know, and it's I lost my son a couple years ago, Declan. And he, when he was growing up, I couldn't wait to get him into gaming, and he did, man. He loved it. He was a big Minecraft guy. Sorry, Shane. But loved it, man. And I did too. I loved playing with him and just doing that. We had our own worlds, and that took over. Colton, my stepson, they used to play it a lot together. And that's one of the only games he won't play anymore. And I think it's because of that reason. Yeah. But my other kids are obviously a little too young to get on a game now. My 3-year-old, though, taught himself how to play this game on his tablet, and that made me proud. It was really cool. He found it on there and learned how to play every part of it. So I thought that was really cool. But when he gets old enough to play on the controllers, it's kind of hard to tell, what I would want to introduce him to. There's a few. I mean, obviously, you almost have to like get him down and have him play some Call of Duty, just because that's got to be like, you know, you got to be in there with him. But
Yeah.
it, you know, it'll all depend, you know, kind of what he ends up liking. He likes to sit down and watch me play my games now, whether it's Battlefield or football. So I mean, we'll see. But I think regardless, he's gonna like it, and he's definitely gonna want to be gaming.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's rough. I don't know how many times I've already told you, but I know I can speak for Shane and myself. We're all sorry for what you went through. I mean, nobody should have to go through that shit.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of part of this, right? I mean, just sharing different experiences that us as dads, and there's people out there that have gone through some shit, and it's hard, but I do think that's one of the best things about video games. It can bring people together. It can distract from things that you maybe don't want to deal with in the moment. It's a good outlet.
It's therapy.
Nope, it's definitely it's therapy. Definitely can be. Nobody should have to go through that. But you know, I think that's something that maybe, you know, your stepson down the road maybe can get back into, and it can be a positive thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Man, I don't know what I want to get Jackson into when he gets to that kind of age. I keep going back and forth because it's like, how do you know what's going to be out when he's
Exactly.
you know, I mean, it's something new every year that comes out.
Well,
Exactly.
It's like
I do.
I think it would be really cool to get into like the old school, like Halo, Gears, Call of Duty.
Yeah, if we're talking
bring
old
that
school,
back.
yeah, and it would be. But like you said earlier, you know, playing games with old graphics is hard.
It
You
is.
know what I mean? And I do enjoy those games. There's not many old games I can go back and keep playing, though, because of that reason. Except for Need for Speed Most Wanted. I'll play that game.
I do want to
no matter
say,
what.
Jake brought up Gears. Gears, I mean, their graphics aren't great. But I think last year sometime, Jake and I got back into Gears of War for a little bit. Like, I don't want to say they hold up, but they're not so bad that it takes you out of it. They're still pretty
Terrible.
decent
Yeah.
graphics.
It's hard.
They were
honestly,
ahead of their time.
They really were ahead of their time. They
Yeah.
were pretty decent graphics. I think until you get to like Gears 4, it's pretty
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
Because I think all the other ones, you know, 1, 2, and 3 are at least on the 360 backwards
360.
compatible. So I mean, you still have those older graphics. It's definitely noticeable,
It's not
but
so
it's not.
bad.
It's not
I do
unplayable.
also want to say,
Right.
though,
Right, and ever since they came out with that Master Chief collection, you know,
when they revamped all
like
that
for
stuff, that
Halo
was
or
pretty
whatever.
good.
Those are pretty.
but for the
Yeah.
for the young ones
Yeah.
trying
Sorry,
to
go
get
ahead,
into
Shane, what were
video,
you saying?
that you want to try and get into gaming and stuff, they do make a lot of like educational video games for children.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Back when I was stationed in Japan, I had a buddy. He had a 2-year-old son, and this kid knew how to like put in like the passwords to open up phones, and he had his own. It was like I forget what it's called, but it was like a safe tablet. It's like a tablet made for children, but it's still a fully a semi fully functioning tablet. And like this kid, granted, I mean, you know, he was Japanese, but this kid could, at 2 years old, could pick his tablet up. And he would ask first because he knew to ask first. Ask if he could play it, and if he got the go ahead, you know, beep boop bop, you know, he'd put in the password to open up his own tablet, and like there were games on there, and he knew how to like pick what game he wanted to play, and
wild.
like there, yeah,
2 years
this
old.
kid was I mean, he was insanely smart for a 2-year-old. He also, as a 2-year-old, looked like he was 5. It was weird. He was a big kid and a very grown-looking kid. But he was 2 years old, and he could just get in there and play these. I mean, they're simple games. You know, most of the games that he played helped him work on like his dexterity or his hand-eye motor skills and stuff like that. But I mean, they're out there, and they do now make tablets and handheld gaming systems designed specifically for children, like young toddlers, to like learn how to do that kind of not even learn how to play video games, but just like learn period. So it's stuff to look into. Like if you really want to get your kid into gaming, because I also feel like gaming can be a type of therapy, and it can be a way to cope with the world around you if you utilize it correctly. There's definitely options out there to help the young ones get in. I myself, when I was 5, played Math Blaster.
I just think it'd be cool, be able to hang out and sit and play with your kids.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Like I just remember like back in the day, playing and Kenny too. I mean, we would play Call of Duty with my dad.
Dad all the time.
And you.
I just remember him.
All of you guys.
He'd sit
really.
in that chair in the basement,
man.
right? And on the one armrest was an ashtray that he didn't fucking use. And he just had this cigarette hanging out of his mouth. The ash was this fucking long and curling downward. And he just
long.
Oh my god, watching him play was mesmerizing.
Oh, I loved it, man.
He'd realize he would have to ash, and he would grab the cigarette, but it was already too long, so it was all over. He had the big old pot belly, so it would just fall on that. Yeah.
I loved it.
You see him now; he's not smoking anymore.
He's lost a shit ton of weight.
A ton of weight. He weighs less than I do.
He's in good shape.
Nice.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
he's looking good.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely want to introduce him to something. I mean, and if he doesn't want to play games, that's fine. Like, I don't want to force anything. I just think it'd be, yeah, that's all you gotta do, right?
Return to sender.
So I guess the next one is. My next one is just making time for family, right? So I will say it is very difficult. I don't know if I can speak for everyone here, but I think anyone listening who is a father, especially, or a mother who plays video games or is into, has their own hobbies. It doesn't have to be games or TV or anything, but I think just making time for family in general is hard. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, like, what we try to do anyway. One, I think it's very important to make time for your spouse before anything. I think that's got to be your number one. So we try to make as much time for each other as we can. We have a date night every Friday. We do something different, whether it's just watching a show together. Sometimes if we don't have anything, we'll build a puzzle together, play a game, just a wine night, just sit and talk or just hang out, read our books. So we do try to make time for that. It gets, shit gets in the way, right? Work. I work a lot of long hours. I'm sure you guys all work really long hours. And then, you get home and you got, the kitchen's a mess, or you got laundry to do, or to take the dog outside, or what, just it adds up. So I don't know if maybe you guys, I don't even know how I want to frame the question, really. I mean, is there any advice you have, or what do you guys do to make time for your kids, your wife, family?
So for me now, it's been a little difficult. I switched over to working third shifts. So I've been doing that a little over a month now. And, so it's made things a little more difficult. I go in around 9, I leave home at 9 o'clock, get home around 8:30 in the morning. So I try to, stay up an hour or two, hang out with the kids, with my girl and relax. And it all varies on what's going on in the day. If Colton's got soccer practice later that night, I have to come home and probably go to sleep right away so I can be up and have the younger kids. But yeah, it's hard. It's not always easy finding a babysitter either. So that makes it hard. Like I said earlier, we went to a walleye game. And it was just me and my fiance who went it was Friday night. And, that was the first time we've been kid-free months, man. 6 months probably plus. So, it was real nice to get out and do something just us. We had a real good night. But besides that, I just squeeze in as many hours as I can. We're out there going outside, playing with the kids, doing something, finding something to do. Luckily, I have the weekends off. So it's, that's where we really try to manage our time together and let it go. So
No, it's good.
So,
Shane, what about you?
how do I want to open this up? We just sort of found, excuse me, we just sort of found like a rhythm, really. Like when work around the house needs to get done, we all sort of pitch in. I've got older kids, so I have sort of pushed getting them to do a lot of housework because I think it's important to teach them how to do that. But I don't make them do everything, so don't come at me, viewers. We all pitch in. But it's weird, right? Because we all sort of have our own rhythms and our own sort of things that we do. So when something needs to get done, we press pause on our devices and we work together to get it done. And we don't run the cleanest household. We've got 2 pets, 2 kids, a wife and a husband. So the house is mostly clean-ish, is how I would describe it. But we work together to do everything. And honestly, something I'm super proud of my kids for, they've gotten into cooking. And, they've kind of always been into cooking. They've just kind of always been really not good at it. But the last couple weeks, they've been making some pasta dishes. And I'm like, I wait till they're done eating, and then I'll sneak into the kitchen, and I'll just, take the rest of it. And then sucks for them, but they've been making some pretty good food. But yeah.
That's awesome.
that is a good one, though.
Well,
That is
and
real
so
good.
also another thing you guys talked about making time for date night and stuff like that. I started dating my wife 4 years ago. What, 3 or 4 days ago? The 17th is like our 4-year dating anniversary. And for the first 3 3/4 years of that, it is like everything has been child centric. Yeah, we'll go out to like a bar or something occasionally. That obviously is just her and me, but that's like after the kids go to bed or something like that. We don't really plan around just her and me time. If it happens, it happens, but more often than not, it's all 4 of us, hanging out, doing stuff together. But the kids, which blows my mind, are like, hey, Mom, you and Mama boyfriend, that's how they refer to me, like, you guys need to go and do stuff on your own. It's important for your relationship. Which I've kind of hinted towards that before, but, things get lost in translation. So these last couple months, here and there, we've actually made it a point to go out to the city together, just us, or go to a restaurant that's just us. And the opposite is true. I've also taken the girls out a couple of times where it's like Mom stays home and it's just me and the girls. We go to a new restaurant, or we go to we go and get them something. Earlier today, Jesse was trying to make some cupcakes. We were out of milk. Everything is closed on Sunday in Germany, which is today, but they've got these little milk stations that are like, you go there and you put some coins into a slot, and it's like old school style where you got this little glass jug and you pour milk into that, because Germany is still in the 16th century. And you get your milk and you go about your way.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's interesting, though.
For a while, it's always been everybody centric, and no one really gets their alone time with whoever is important. But we've started to get added things to our rhythm, and I think that's what's really important, is developing that rhythm at first. I think it's different for, well, maybe not so different for you, Kenny, but Jake, for you, you're still real early on. What, Jax is what, 4?
Oh, not
Okay,
even.
yeah, so
not even 3 yet.
It's different when they're that young. Once they're older, it makes things harder to work around because they don't need you as much, but they also need you much more because there's a lot more to deal with age. But it's weird. Like, we don't have a set schedule for really anything. If nothing is going on, I'm pretty much on the Xbox. But if anything is going on, the Xbox gets put on pause. We go do our thing. But the vast majority of what we do is like family outings, and I've enjoyed it. People.
Yeah.
I do think it's important to spend time with just you and your spouse, especially. I think Jake, with you having a baby is crazy. Is a lot of work, so it's especially more important that you spend time away from that with your spouse. But for me, like, the kids are they take care of themselves. Mostly the wife, because I wasn't there for most of it. Like, she taught them well, so it's not so important that we have our little like date night that's just us, because we can do that at home. Like, the kids can do their own thing and we can do our own thing. We cuddle up on the couch and the kids aren't involved. I don't know, it's weird. It's nice though.
I'm sure you go through different, like, depending on what kind of stage that your kids are in or what your family dynamic in. I'm sure it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I think just for us, I mean, since Jackson's been born, I mean, we've moved, once for work. We were living in Virginia, now we're in North Carolina. She got pregnant pretty early on in our relationship, so I mean, we haven't had a lot of time to just be us, and we try to make time for that. I think it's important because we don't have any babies. We don't have family near us. My closest family is Ohio, and hers is up in Virginia. It's a 5-hour drive. So it's not like we can just get a babysitter at a drop of a hat. We just don't trust people. You know what I mean? I guess that's on us.
Don't wrap your
we just don't want to give our kid to a stranger. Yeah, shit happens. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard. It makes things difficult. But it's also good. It's like a fun time too, because like it is stressful, but it is fun doing it together. Having someone who's like truly a partner.
Honestly,
it's good. It's just I think you got to remember to make time for each other. And make
Jax is such a cool kid though.
Right.
And me and the wife have already sort of decided once we get settled in the States, she's got one of those like inserted. I don't remember I don't know what they're called. She's got one of the inserted.
Oh,
it's like a little plastic thing in her arm or whatever. She's gonna get that. I think once we get to the States, she's getting close to the date where she's gonna get a new one anyways. So we're just gonna take that out and try for another one.
That's awesome.
We'll see. Apparently, having babies is very stressful on the relationship. We're gonna have to figure out how to make that work, but. Dude, Jax is such a good kid. I love that guy so much.
I think it depends on who you are. I mean, he's awesome. I know. Kenny, you have yet to meet Jax.
I haven't.
We'll have to come up. We're coming up there soon. I'll have to give you a shout if I have some time. We're coming up there for Raider's wedding.
Yeah, you mean the wedding I didn't get an invite to?
I'll give you
Not
a shout.
that I'd be able
to
go, but
Yeah. I mean,
we'll have words if he ever actually gets on this channel. He was the original. He was a part of the original 3 that made this up. Like, no shade to you, Kenny, but it was supposed to be, me, Jake's, and Raider, or me, Jake, and Raider. But haven't seen him on here, and I didn't get a wedding invite.
That's a good point, though. I mean, he's got a brand new baby, and he's his wife's working. And, excuses, right? His wife's working. He's taking care of the kid right now. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of what we're talking about right now. I mean, we're not going to put out something every week or every 2 weeks. Sometimes, just because we're all parents, we're all full time working life, and sometimes it's just I don't have it in me to record something. What I mean? I need a day just to relax. It's some of those. Sometimes. So I mean, it just is what it is. This is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to get in the way of anything, so if anybody needs to put something on hold, it is what it is. You know, it's not like we're making money doing it. It's not a job. You know, it's just supposed to be fun, get together, and hopefully have some entertainment in the mix as well. You know,
Right.
and that's kind of the last thing I want to talk to. And we kind of wrap it up soon. We're past an hour, but I think a lot of people don't talk. It kind of goes into what we just talked about, but the whole dad guilt. So I know, I assume you both know what I'm talking about when I say dad guilt, but kind of just in the same vein as making time for family. I think not enough people talk about that dad guilt. And I'll give you an example of, you know, my wife works nights or second shift, right? And so I was sitting on the couch the other night, and Jackson's watching Paw Patrol or whatever, and I'm just sitting there scrolling on my phone. Right, and I was thinking to myself, like, God, I'm not doing anything. I should just put my phone down and just play or something. He doesn't need to be watching TV or whatever. It's that kind of shit that you kind of don't, you know, maybe people are too hard on themselves sometimes too, but at the same time, it's like, there's just certain times that I feel like, especially dads, don't get the best representation in public space. Like, you know, not that moms aren't. I mean, moms are doing the bulk of the work, and I think as far as in my household, I mean, Lauren, you know, she pretty much does everything around the house. She is working too, and she takes care of Jackson full time. But it is hard while, you know, I'm at work all day, just in my personal experience, and then you miss out on things, right? You miss out on going to the park and playing, or you miss out on different, like, birthday parties that, you know, your kid goes to, or just things like that. And I think it's important to take the time when you can. So, like, if we're not recording every now and then, that's fine. If you guys need to take the time, and anybody who listens, whatever, is just gonna have to deal with that. You know, if we're not gonna be out on you know, a religious schedule every week at this time, we're gonna put something out, because, like, you know, your family is what's important, not, you know, what you're doing. Like this, or even playing video games. I think that's important. Just saying, like, obviously, all three of us love video games. We love playing, but it's important to keep in mind that, you know, your spouse or your significant other, your kids, that's what matters most. So also take the time to spend the time with them, the quality time with them, and make sure there's a good balance between your work life, your family life, you know, the time you take for you, which is important. And it's hard to find that balance. It's not a perfect answer, and there's nothing. I don't know that any of us have the same answer to how we do that, or I don't know that there is a perfect answer to it. But I think just as long as you're working to try and find that balance, I think you're on the right path, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've been really fortunate here where I'm working. Generally speaking, you know, with the military lifestyle, you miss out on, like, key important, like, milestones in your family, like your family in general's life. I'm fortunate enough that, like, my boss and my boss's boss, and, you know, so on and so forth, like, they very much value the member and the member's family. So, like, earlier, my wife came in, and, you know, my kid's having some ear problems and an eye problem, and it's, like, getting to the point where it's causing her enough pain that she's in tears. Now, we're in Germany, so no one's open on Sunday. We can't do anything about that today. But tomorrow, I'm going to take her to the doctor. All I got to do is hit my boss up and say, hey, I'm taking my kid to the doctor. We're about to, you know, zip out of here. And, like, I'm not going to face reprisal. There's going to be no issues with that. And it's going to be fine. But later on in my career, there are going to be times where my leadership's not so family oriented. And when my kids need a doctor, I'm not going to be able to be the one that takes them there. Or if they have a show, I'm not going to be able to go and watch. Especially if a deployment comes down. Obviously, I'll be halfway across the world, so I won't be able to participate in these, like, family stuff. Right now, I haven't felt a whole lot of, we'll call it stepdad guilt, because like I said, I've been able to participate in a lot of things, and, I truly feel like everyone in this household is sort of pulling their own weight as far as taking care of the house or as far as making time for the family. So, but I do know that there are sacrifices that'll be made down the road. And not that there hasn't been any sacrifices currently. Like there's times when I'm on like a TDY or something where I'm not able to be home and take care of the family for a couple days or a week. But my wife works really hard at home. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's got her own things going on, and she's able to hold stuff down. And we're fortunate to be in that situation where she's able to do the majority of the housework, and I'm able to do the majority of the take-home money kind of guy. But I definitely see the conflict in the future that's to come, where I will have that guilt because I won't be able to always be there. So I've just been real fortunate so far.
Well, especially you guys are going to try to have a new kid, and then you have a new baby at home too.
The military has
a lot of stress
updated their policies on like paternity leave. So it used to be like dads would only get like a week or two of paternity leave, and then the moms would get like a couple months. And it's now like 6 or 8 weeks that both parents will get. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be consecutive. Well, it doesn't have to be consecutive either. So like I can take a couple of days here. Yeah, there's a time limit. I think I don't know what the time limit is. I don't have a newborn baby, so I haven't looked into it too much. But there is a time limit. So like I don't know. I think you have to take it within a 12-month period. But like I get a good chunk of weeks that I can just be like, all right, like I got a newborn baby. I'm not coming to work these times. It doesn't cut into my leave. It doesn't cut into my pay. It doesn't cut into anything. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Shit, Kenny, what about you?
Yeah, it's hard. Definitely, like I said, working third shift now, so it's nice. I get to, before my kids go to bed, I get to put them to bed and everything, so that's nice. But it sucks sometimes having to come home and then just kind of up and leave them and go to sleep then, and I sleep for a few hours during the day, and then it's almost kind of like wake up and the time flies then, so just depending on that day, if I end up sleeping a little later, it's like, wake up, eat dinner, and get them ready for bed before I go to work. So sometimes definitely I feel like, like you said, if you're just sitting there on your phone or even just playing my game, like I should probably shut this off and go do something with them, take them outside or, whatever. So I feel a lot of that. I think it's just really hard to avoid it too. I think life just goes, not even life, just your daily life goes by so quick that you never really get to do everything you want to get done or do everything you want to do. So it is hard to just kind of like ease that guilt, because I think everything will kind of bring it to you,
Yeah, because there's something to be said for needing some kind of downtime to yourself, too, just to recharge or whatever. I think you need that, too.
Definitely.
And it's hard to kind of find that balance to, am I doing it too much or
and that
not
was
enough? Or...
Before, I switched to thirds, my big thing was I sacrificed my own sleep for that. The kids went to bed around 8 or 9. I'd be up with my fiance for a couple more hours. She'd go to bed 11:30, and then I myself would stay up till 1, 2 in the morning, just, either playing a game, cleaning stuff up, even just sitting there scrolling through my phone, just relaxing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of taking a breather.
Just decompressing.
Yeah. So I'd say, then I'd be up at 5, 6 o'clock the next morning, running off little sleep, but I'm not, too opposed to that. I could run off a little bit of sleep. I just feel like I need my time.
I need my beauty rest.
Yeah, we know.
It is important though. It's important
Well, yeah, that's
to
good.
have like your you time. Just like the wife needs to have her time.
Yeah,
And the
whatever it
kids
is.
need to have like their time where mom and dad aren't fucking,
Yeah.
constantly on them.
Yeah.
It's important to find a balance.
Definitely.
I've just been very fortunate that everything's sort of been relatively smooth. But yeah, especially like working third shift where you're basically sleeping when everyone else is up doing their thing. That's crazy to me. It's got to be real rough.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's
That's
hard.
rough.
But it seems like you've got at least
Yeah.
somewhat of a grasp on it, so that's pretty good. Yeah. Do you know how long you're going to be on third shift for? Or is this a more permanent thing, or?
I don't think it's going to be permanent. This third shift where I'm working is kind of a newly added shift. They never, they had a couple people kind of doing little things. Now they're trying to put almost full production going on during
Okay.
third shifts as well. So I'm hoping with them hiring new people, they kind of know I want to be on first, and they honestly kind of wanted to keep me on first. It's just, the job needs done, and I'll do whatever job it is. So I'm hoping, within a couple months, I'm back on first and have a regular schedule set. Because it is hard to keep it regular.
Yeah.
Every day's different.
Well,
Definitely
just look at what you're doing right now. You're on the weekend, back on like a first shift schedule. So it's like
Exactly.
every weekend you got to switch back.
Exactly.
And that's just not good on your body. It's got to be hard
No,
to
it
even
makes
get
Mondays.
to sleep sometimes.
Yeah, Mondays are tough. I go in Monday, like I said, at 9:30. I clock in, so I leave around 9, and it's hard because I do weekends almost like I come back to first shift. I'm up with the kids in the morning. I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning.
Jesus.
So it's hard. It is hard to switch it back, but
There you go.
it's where a 5-hour energy comes into play.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, good. I think we're about an hour 30 right now.
Yeah.
Looks
like
like
it.
so. I guess we'll wrap it up. Do you either of you have anything else you
Nope.
would like to add?
No, I think we're good. America.
Fuck yeah.
I like it. Yeah, that was a good sign off. Right? All right, well, good. So, again, anybody who wants to, I don't know, maybe share your experience or comment or tell us to do something better. The internet loves to tell you what you're doing wrong. So, feel free to do
definitely.
that.
Right.
Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, our email address is pixelsplotsandparenting.com.
Hey,
All right, have a good one.
Kenny.
We'll see you next time.
Later, guys.